As my product is going to be a short film, the main purpose of it is to entertain the target audience. Often, short films also have morals running alongside, or themes that they would like to address. As my film is a thriller, there are a few themes that are addressed within the film, such as mental illness, internal struggle, and the human brain. All of these themes are there to create a sense of realism, however the primary purpose of my short film is there to entertain. The genre of my short film is a thriller. Through my research, I researched both conventions of thriller films and horror films. I did this because my overall idea is of the subgenre of a psychological thriller. By using conventions of both horror and thriller, this will create the effect that needs to be portrayed. The main idea for the narrative of my short film doesn't consist of many actors. Throughout most of my film, there is only one character that is playing the protagonist and the antagonist character. At the beginning of the film, the audience are not aware of this, therefore creating an enigma. The first scene begins with a flashback, as this helps create the storyline wanted for my audience. It is a stereotypical convention of a thriller film, as it gives the audience a backstory of what has previously happened. Within this flashback, the characters needed are a younger version of the protagonist. To create this effect, I will use an actor that has a similar hair colour and is the same ethnicity, as this will make the audience aware who this character is and what she is signifying. As the flashback is there for the audience to get a backstory of the upcoming narrative, I have chosen to add this in, that the child is witnessing a killing. Through this, the audience empathise with the protagonist character and will become aware at the end of the film why everything has been done. Following this, there are then cross-cutting scenes or split screens of the protagonist and antagonist characters, which is when the audience are aware of the disequilibrium within the narrative. These scenes consist of the doll's house, with the doll being controlled and the protagonist character almost being controlled by everything that happens to this doll. Throughout, the audience are not aware of who the antagonist character is. The protagonist is experiencing pain throughout the film. Towards the end of the film, the antagonist character is revealed and the audience are aware that the pain of the protagonist character is actually self-inflicted pain, as the antagonist character is the same person. I have come up with these ideas through watching other short films as part of my research. Watching short films has made me clear on the representations of my characters that I wish to create. Vulnerability is something I believe needs to be apparent within a thriller film, to then create suspense throughout. Looking at the point of view of my film being produced by an independent film company would be a lot more realistic. After researching some independent film companies within the UK, I came across Coffee Films. Coffee Films are an award-winning independent production company that have been creating films since 1996. Most of the films that they have created are of the horror and thriller genre. I have come across a psychological thriller film that this film company have produced called Lucid. Therefore, my short film would be the perfect product for the production company to produce. Other independent film companies that could produce my film would be Walk Films. This film company is based in both Sheffield and London within the UK. This independent production company have won awards from the year 2003, and one of their films was also the first film DVD single in the UK market. Looking from a more aspirational perspective, a good example of a company that would produce my short film would be Hammer Films. Hammer Films is a production company based in the UK, and they have been creating films since 1934. I have researched into what films they have been responsible for, and they include films such as Let Me In, The Resident and The Woman in Black. I believe this would be a good platform for my film, as they have been responsible for some award-winning films, and they have many thriller and horror films in which they have created. As my film is a short film, it will benefit me by the film being produced by this production company, as my film could be shown at the beginning of feature-length thrillers. Due to the characters within my film, this will create a predominantly female audience. Within most thrillers, specifically psychological thrillers, the age of the audience is often above 18. The reason behind this is because it could be disturbing for younger viewers. However, as specifically for my film, it is not too graphic. I would say the majority of my target audience would be aged between 16 to 24. The social class of my target audience would be ABC ones, as they are the ones with the most disposable income. Therefore, they would have the content such as laptops and computers to access the platforms in which my film will be distributed on. A possible secondary target audience for the short film I am creating would be males aged between 16 to 24. I believe the same age group would apply, as this is the age people are interested in drama, which is within the aspect of a thriller film. I also believe it will appeal to the male audience, as the genre is a thriller. There is an element of action, in which tension is built. I have two main locations in which I want to contrast within my film. Most of the film will be within a house to create the everyday lifestyle, which will later contrast with the genre, as there will be weird things happening throughout. Within the house I will use the majority of the rooms, as this helps to create the normality of the storyline, which later helps contrast the thriller aspects, as these locations are creating realism. One of the other locations I plan on using is the cellar. The reason I am using this location is to portray the negative aspects of a thriller film, and it creates the atmosphere needed. With using the correct lighting and camera work, I believe I can create the look I want for the audience. The use of the props that I need for my short film need to connote the genre of my film being a thriller. The main prop that I plan on using consistently is going to be the doll's house, which I am using to work alongside the narrative. I believe this will work well with the genre of my film, as it can help create the mystery and slightly eerie aspect of a thriller film. At the most, I may only need 3 characters in my short film. As the protagonist and the antagonist character are the same, they are shown throughout the majority of the film. The only other scene within my film that I need characters for is at the beginning of my film for the flashback. Based on health and safety, we had an induction lesson with the media technician to go over the health and safety considerations during the time we are filming. A lot of the points we learnt last year can also be applied to this situation. One of the first things that need to be done are all the possible cautions that may occur, if there are any possible trip hazards during the place that we are filming, and also is the location safe. As my chosen locations of filming are familiar family locations, I will always have an extra person with me. Another consideration we need to check are the equipment and whether it's working or not. During the contrast of working on both inside and outside locations, condensation can often happen. Therefore, it is important to make sure it is all in good working order. My short film is a low-budget film. The actors I am using are amateur, therefore I won't need to pay them. As all my filming is in a standard location, I do not need to budget anything for travel and bus fare. One aspect of budgeting I may need to be aware of is props. To create the atmosphere of a thriller, I may need to buy props that fit in well with my chosen genre. Some examples of props I may need is for the doll's house I am using. To create the effect and build tension through my short film, I will need to make sure the doll and the protagonist controlling look similar to the protagonist character in terms of costume. I have my own camera and also have access to other possible cameras to use within college. To create the steady shots I need, I have a tripod for my camera, and there are available equipment within college, such as a dolly to create panning shots at a steady angle. Due to the genre of my film and typical conventions of a thriller, the fact that I am filming in autumn-winter time will benefit through the weather being dull. Though I have no specific ideas of the weather within my film, rain and dull weather could help create the atmosphere. The time of day that I will probably film will be more in the evening than in the day, as it helps create tension, and night can be a stereotypical time of day that thrillers are filmed. Although this doesn't matter too much, as the majority of my film will be filmed indoors. There are many possible ways in which my target audience could access my product. The most popular platform being YouTube, as it can be shared globally. In addition to the social networking sites are becoming more popular to share and view videos. Therefore, websites such as Facebook and Twitter would also work. Realistically, these are the options that would work best for me at this point. Worldwide, there are many international film festivals in which short films are accepted. This would be a possible option, as my film I am creating will have no dialogue. Therefore, people from all around the globe would be able to understand my product. If this product was on a much larger budget, a way of distribution could be for my film to be played at the beginning of a feature-length film. Though not popular in this particular genre, Pixar films often show 5-minute short clips at the beginning. This idea could be pastiched and shown at the beginning of feature-length thriller films.